Sizing a quilt block in My Block Piecer is really very simple. We'll start with a new screen and we'll left mouse click on the quilt block library icon to access all of the blocks that are stored in the library. I have selected 3 triangles. Down in the left hand corner you'll notice that this is where you can size on the main screen. 8 by 8 has already been selected. I'm going to switch over to 6 by 6 and I'll click OK. Now the design comes up in the 6 by 6 inch size. If I wanted to change that size, I could go to the transform box and maybe make that a 7-inch block and click apply. You could also drag a handle and then check the size in the transform tab. I'm going to go back to 7 inches and I'll click apply. With the block selected, I click on the workflow icon to access the workflow tool. Down at the bottom of this window, you'll see that this is your option to select your hoop. I'm going to select an 8-inch hoop because my block is 7 inches. I have already added in a 1/4 inch seam allowance, which is the default, and there's a check mark in the Create Seam Allowance box. So I will auto build this and preview, and you can see it fits in my 8-inch hoop. Now I'll click close. Let's increase this to 8 inches, which common sense would kind of tell me that should fit in my 8-inch hoop, right? But now when I click on the workflow tool and with my 200 by 200 hoop selected and I click on auto build and preview, it tells me I have to select a larger hoop. And that's because your 8-inch quilt block, or any quilt block number that you insert into the software program, is the finished sewn size, and seam allowance will extend beyond the edges of that quilt block. So know that if you're going to add seam allowance to any block, you may have to go up in a hoop size to accommodate that seam allowance. It's easy to remember. The software reminds you, and then you would just change your hoop selection. Very easy to resize quilt blocks in My Block Piecer.